Welcome back to Daily Flash. Fabian Marcano from Daily Flash Latino joins us now for our relationship refresh.
Hi guys, pleasure to be here. Guys, I have a real big question.
Okay.
How would you feel if your partner was doing OnlyFans? But here's the catch. They're making 6 figures.
Okay, now, and I know about it, or I found out about it.
Let's say you found out about it.
Oh.
Let's say you found out about it. Here's an example, right? There's an aerospace engineer that was making 6 figures already with his career.
Sure.
But on the side, on a lunch break, he was doing his OnlyFans gig. And on the part-time gig, I guess with the time he had, it was adding up to a lot of money, and he got fired right at that lunch break when he came back from work. So, I mean, it also continues into, I guess, the workplace. Is it a financial decision? Is it cool if it's a financial decision? Right?
I think I would hope, number one, that any kind of relationship, if you're a couple or whatever, you would know that, hey, you're doing this OnlyFans thing. Because then I'd be like, what else are you doing that I don't know about? And that sort of thing. And there had to be some kind of conversation prior to that for them to do that. And third, there has to be somebody behind the camera.
Well, not necessarily.
Wait, there could be some, you could maybe put the phone somewhere, I guess.
Maybe there's a selfie stick or
Right.
a ring light and a remote.
The catch is they are making loads of money in this process. So, I mean, I guess would the financial part of it, I guess, make it easier for you?
It seems like it has been for a number of people who've been caught up in these OnlyFans controversies where, look, the guy should not be doing it on his lunch break. I'm sorry, but you're at work. If you want to do it after work, then, that's kind of your thing.
Keep your part-time gigs to the part-time, right?
Exactly. But I think, a lot of these people, once they start making this kind of money, they think, oh gosh, this is great. It's a cash cow, right?
Yeah.
But it's also a trust factor. Like, not just with your business and your employer, if you're doing that on your lunch break, how can they trust you to actually complete your tasks?
Wow.
And the girlfriend or the boyfriend of whoever's doing it, same thing. It's a trust factor, especially if they don't know about it.
Yeah.
It sounds like priorities. If I was an employer, I would say, well, what is your priority right now? Apparently, the argument could be, well, it's my lunch break. I can do whatever I want. But also, too, you're also representing my company. So what is your priority?
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
It actually makes me think a little bit about it because I feel like the companies might actually take more of a precaution with you doing OnlyFans than a person that's just regularly, just working for their career.
I agree.
Another story I have is actually, it kind of correlates. How would you feel about a partner having a close relationship or a friendship with someone of the opposite gender, and they hang out one-on-one?
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. I've been through this. It's not good.
It's not good.
And when I was younger, it drove me nuts.
Yeah,
But,
I feel like I'm pretty young, right? And I feel kind of jealous about that stuff. It gets me riled up. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how you guys feel.
I think having more relationships and maturing through those relationships, you sort of like, I don't really care.
You get to that point. I think if you were going to that other person of the opposite sex and you're giving very intimate details or issues, you shouldn't be doing that with the person that you're supposed to be with. On the same token, you kind of wonder, well, if I can't go to that person because that's the person I'm having an issue with, and if you are directing all of it to your friend or whatever, obviously something's missing out. So there needs to be some kind of communication there between the couple.
I actually like the way you put that, Mitch, because that makes me think possibly wouldn't that other person actually know a little bit more about your relationship?
Yes,
Yeah. At times they could maybe have some more secrets that you might not even have heard of.
Yeah.
And you can paint the picture to that other person as much as you want, because you're like, well, I really don't have much committed to you other than just friendship.
Exactly.
Who I am. So
you
I
look
can
like
see
the
that.
great guy, I'm like, I'm always doing everything right, and she's always making me mad, like she's always, I get problems with her all the time, and then imagine the person, I guess, explains those problems to that one person that they have a friendship with, who I guess, quote unquote, is hanging out one-on-one is cool, Like,
I think the key to those opposite sex, if I know that my boyfriend has a best girlfriend, I know they're discussing our relationship,
Exactly.
and that I would have a problem with. However, if he's hanging out with his guy friend and they're discussing it, I guess, I don't know, I would take a different approach.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
I mean,
I don't know if
never
I'd
really thought
feel
about that.
as threatened.
What about, I would imagine the relationships, generally, if you're finding somebody really close while you're already with somebody, it's like, wait a minute, why are you even looking out? But if you inherited, the relationship inherited those friends, that makes it a little bit more difficult, I bet.
This also brings me to our last topic of the day. Is it essential for couples to have similar life goals in order to succeed in a relationship nowadays?
Ooh, that's
You have to. I mean, in my opinion, I think you should have somewhat of a similar way of going at it. I think, but I've seen it work every way.
Well, I'm going through this now. So we talk about retirement, and we're like, well, do you want to get a small little van and just travel the world, or do you want to move maybe closer to your kids and that sort of thing? Now, I want to travel the world once I retire, and Liza's not really 100% on board. She says, I've already seen the world. There's really not a whole much I really don't want to see after that.
She likes to be at home.
So we have to figure something out. So in that aspect, no, we're not. But there has to be a compromise where, okay, we'll stay here in this house, but we'll also travel maybe every other month or something like that.
I think that if you've got work goals, if one person's not motivated and they're at home and they're not doing anything, they're trying to find a career, and you've got somebody else who's a total go-getter, I think eventually that wears on a relationship.
That's where I was getting at, Andrea.
Yeah.
I feel like when you are complete opposites, it makes it actually a big difference in that relationship. I feel like it could, take a drastic turn.
What I've always felt like is that when you go into a relationship, it's what they teach in the Boy Scouts is you go to a campground. When you leave the campground, it's got to be better than it was before. All right? That's about. So if you go into a relationship, you should be working on working and making each other better by all means. But with that is sacrifice and compromise.
But don't you find you're a different person in a relationship today than you were 10 years ago?
Jackson knows. I would hope that I am, and I've grown up a lot.
But I think that's part of what's great about relationships is you should be learning something from each one and changing with it as you go.
And I love the Boy Scout reference. I think we should all be great Boy Scouts out there. That's amazing.
Your campgrounds, they got to look better than when you found them, all right?
Fabian, thank you.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys.
You, of course, can check out Fabian on Daily Flash Latino. Go to dailyflashlatino.com for more details and airtimes.